Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Azrin and I am from Group 1. I will be presenting on life cycle assessment under the guidance of Dr. Karuzan bin Yahya. The content of this video consists of 4 points or 4 chapters. The first one will be the introduction to LCA. The second one we will be discussing on the liquor model, and the third one will be the road resource model. These two models we will be highlighting on the advantages and disadvantages of each model. And lastly, the conclusion that will be on the last part of the video. Our group member consists of 3 people, which are myself, Azizah, Azrin, or Yassin. Next will be Abul, Izzureen, Asyraf, bin Nasaruddin, and lastly, Chai Nie. Moving on to chapter 1, the introduction to LCA. So, the LCA basic fundamentals. We would always wonder what is the proper method on analyzing or evaluating potential environmental impact before processing a product. Hence, LCA, or a life cycle assessment, comes to help to evaluate the impacts. Now, a more proper techniques or professional code of practice is established to guide this LCA technique. So, next one. This figure is a general model of LCA. As we can see, the material is evaluated from the raw material extraction until the disposal of it. So that's why sometimes it is called cradle to grave evaluation. And next one, this is a life cycle of a building. So construction sector and environment contamination have a very clear connection between them. So as I take the life cycle of a building for an instance, this has a significant influence on the environment, ranging from the material usage during the construction, the repair and restoration, to the emission of hazardous compounds throughout the building's life cycle, as we can see in figure 2 right. So if one understands a building's whole life cycle, obviously LCA could be conducted during the construction phase as efficiently as we can.
So for LCA models, we talk about LCA, which is life cycle consideration and environmental impact assessment of road infrastructure. Okay, LCA is a model designed to be used in the early stage of the road infrastructure planning, and it needs to be done in the exact location of the road in combination with the required road elements, such as tunnels and bridge when on the early stage. Okay, therefore, to make the decision on the route selection and construction types like road, bridge, or tunnel, this model can be used to select and analyze. Okay, and this model is like a MS Excel tool developed, and then which quantifies the life cycles, GHG, those greenhouse gases such as CO2, emissions and energy use of road infrastructure elements such as bridges, tunnels, and plain routes, as well as traffic in alternative route corridors in a planned construction project. Okay, yeah. Okay, so for the license model, the main life cycle stages included production, construction, and operation and end of life. Okay, and traffic stages. Okay, these are the 5 stages. Yeah. Okay, so we move on to the root RES model, which stands for root construction and disposal of residues. And then the purpose of using this model is assisting on managing sustainable disposal of residues, and it's also a decision tool for designing brand new equipment with considering the environment management. Okay, so it allows the users to evaluate the effect of changes from different perspectives with different initiatives. Okay, so this is the root areas, root construction and disposal of residues overview of this modeling. Okay, so we can see it here. Root construction and disposal of residue. There are two stages, which is root system and landfill system. Okay, root system okay is like the root construction site, and the landfill system is like the disposal of residue site. Okay, yeah. So in root system we have four stages, which is design stage, construction stages. Inside the construction stage, we have earthwork, construction of pavement, and additional work. And then we move on to the okay, we also have another one, which is operation stage. And then inside operation stage, we have regular maintenance and pavement maintenance and winter service and leaching aspects. Okay, then we move on to another part of root system, which is demolition stage. Okay, so this is what we have for the root system. Yeah, and for the energy resource part, okay, we have non-renewable resources such as crude oil or natural gas aggregates. Okay, and renewable wood. Renewable sources will be wood, raw water, surface water. Okay, and then land use, agriculture area. Okay, they can be used for the root system. Okay, yeah. Okay, can also be used with landfill as well. Yeah. Okay, and okay, the environmental impacts. Okay, for the root systems, emission and waste will have all these environmental impacts such as global warming, photochemical ozone formation, nutrients enrichment, acidification, stratospheric ozone depletion, hemotoxicity, ecotoxicity, and stored ecotoxicity. Okay, yeah. And then we move on to the disposal of residual site, which is in here is written as landfill. Okay, so we have landfilling stage and leaching stage. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, the construction residues will have crushed concrete and asphalt. Okay, from waste incineration will be bottom ash. Then we move on to another part.
So my name is Abul Asyraf bin Nasaruddin. So I will explain on the comparison of the both of LCA model that our group have chosen, which are the first one is LCA model and the second one is the rock rest model. So I will go first on the LCA model. So first I will explain on the advantages of the LCA model. First, LCA model provide a measure of life cycle of GHG emission and energy consumption by road infrastructure. It is important for us to measure these two things in order for us to sustain environment and fulfill the LCA modeling. So the second one is by using this model, we can quantify the energy consumption of material production, including extraction of construction, operational and end-life raw materials for road infrastructure element and road traffic during operation can also be quantified. So next, in LCA model also, by using LCA model also, in modeling a model in LCA, it has a variety shapes and size in modeling roads, bridges and tunnel, as well as supporting street furniture also have been included. So from that we can make an initial plan or overview for the construction of a model for a project. So the next we by using this model also we can estimate up to 3 different road corridors and compare each alternative to zero alternative. Then so we move to the disadvantages of the LCA model. So with a lot of disadvantages, however there are still some shortcomings or disadvantages that have been identified against this LCA model as an LCA model. So firstly, there are still lack of default data for certain country or nation. It may be not an issue that is too big and important, but because the requirement for a country in road construction is a little bit different for the different countries, so or maybe due to its different geographical condition, so it is also different. So with the default data for each country in it, it can make this as a model more user friendly as a LCA model. So second, another thing that this LCA model need to be improved is on more detail on traffic scenario. This is because in planning a road construction, we must consider and understand in depth about the traffic scenario for an area to make sure the road that will be constructed there pass the requirement which has been set. So next, the LCA model should also include more detail on traffic, different traffic scenario that depends on the road corridor for an area. This is because, of course, every place is not the same road corridor. So this needs to be detailed in order for us to ensure that the space of the road and movement time is appropriate for the type of road corridor. So the last one is a relative important things that can be improved on the LCA model is the uncertainty in the assessment of the output model. In fulfilling the LCA model requirement for early stage planning, the output model must be evaluated properly so that there are so undesirable things when the road construction process start later. So we move to the second model of the LCA model, which is road rest model. So I will explain on the advantages of road rest model. First, one of the advantages it has is the road rest is very user-friendly LCA model. So this can be proven by the user being able to add new materials, compounds, scenarios, impact assessment, methodologies, and so on to the database easily and quickly. So road rest model is not only user-friendly, but also transparent and flexible with the tools it has, where it has the tool to view and track the decisions and results, and as well as track the importance of materials and procedure for its programs. REST also actually has the capability in evaluating a complex of long-term leaching potential from waste in order for us to find the most sustainable option. So next, REST has a feature to divide leach amount into a separate compartment in environment. Leaching from natural gravel materials will be taken into account and evaluated to prove that the amount of leaching from natural materials is also clearly visible, even if it is lower than edge. So through road rest, we can identify that different base edge qualities have a significant influence on the scenario result in the presence of leaching profiles. So next, by using the rest model, it can assess environmental impact and resource consumption. With the road rest capability, we can evaluate and determine these two things for different stages of the road construction, besides being able to compare or choose the most solution for the road design and maintenance. So the last one is road rest model is also famous as one of the LCA model that is often used because it has a flexible boundary system. This is because the user can not only add more detailed data into it, but can also expand the boundaries of the scenario system. However, the road model is still able to handle the number of materials and resources without any limit, which are all included in the inventory. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Moving on to the last part of the video, which is the conclusion. So, life cycle assessment is a very powerful tool for examining of all of the associated environmental effects of a product. Remember that LCA is a tool to inform decision makers and should be included with other decision criteria such as cost and performance to make a well-balanced decision. In future, we hope to see a big shift to the right direction since LCA can offer great advantages to the companies and international instruments of a structured, holistic measurement of sustainability. Thank you. That is all from us.